As the Federal Parliament is sitting in Canberra this week, we have apologies from both members of the Senate and the House of Representatives who are regrettably unable to be with us tonight. Senator Nick Xenophon from South Australia was unable to be with us tonight. However, he has sent the following message. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you to the members of the United Pontian Benevolence Brotherhood for their invitation to address you all tonight on the solemn occasion of commemorating the Hellenic, Armenian and Assyrian genocides. I apologise for not being able to make this address in person. Unfortunately, my parliamentary commitments preclude me from being with you tonight. I thank myself for presenting this speech on his behalf. US Congressman Jerry Costello once said, "Genocide is the most potent of all crimes against humanity because it is an effort to systematically wipe out a people and a culture as well as individual lives." We come together tonight not just to mourn and commemorate those who lost their lives, but to remind ourselves of how far we have come and how far we still have to go. More and more countries across the world are formally recognising these past atrocities as genocide. Australia is yet to do so. For too many years, people scared of political repercussions have relied on a game of semantics to avoid taking a stand on this issue. There have been too many discussions of legal versus historical definitions, of specific intention versus circumstance, of who is on what side. All of these arguments forget the most important point. Over 3.5 million people died as a result of the deliberate, systematic actions of the Ottoman Empire. The Hellenic, Armenian and Assyrian people endured forced marches into the desert with little or no food or water, and imprisonment in so-called relocation camps, which were effective concentration camps. Ottoman troops also massacred countless victims in vicious attacks on cities and local villages. These attacks included mass drownings, burnings, and poisonings. Tonight, we come together to remember these victims, who are so often forgotten by those who seek to avoid this debate. Because this isn't about semantics, about definitions or intentions or sides. It's about the millions of people who lost their lives and those who seek to honour their memory. And it's time for the Australian government to join us in acknowledging these terrible wrongs. We also have apologies from Senator Arthur Sinodinos from New South Wales, the Honourable Joel Fitzgibbon, Member for Hunter and Chief Government Whip, the Honourable Paul Fletcher, Member for Bradfield, Mr Scott Morrison, Federal Member for Cook and Shadow Minister for Immigration and Citizenship, the Honourable Tony Burke, Minister for Sustainability, Environment, Water, Population and Communities, the Honourable Robert McClellan, Federal Member for Barton, the Honourable Mr Laurie Ferguson, Federal Member for Werriwa, the Honourable Mr Malcolm Turnbull, Federal Member for Wentworth, and finally Mr John Alexander, Federal Member for Bennelong, was kind enough to send us this message. Thank you for kindly inviting me to attend the annual Pontian Genocide commemoration on Wednesday, 9 May 2012. Unfortunately, I am unable to attend due to parliamentary commitments in Canberra. I strongly support the recognition of the Hellenic, Armenian and Assyrian genocides from 1915 to 1923, which I have spoken about in Parliament 3 times since my election. On 21st of November, I made a speech recognising the genocides and strong efforts of the Armenian National Committee Australia, Australian Hellenic Council and Assyrian Universal Alliance. I was proud to coordinate 3 of my parliamentary colleagues, Joe Hockey, Malcolm Turnbull and Craig Kelly, to follow my speech with their own acknowledgements of these atrocities. Whilst I cannot attend your function, I am proudly supporting commemoration events in the Bennelong community in the coming weeks. I hope that all these events assist us to travel towards a goal of formally recognising these historical atrocities. I would appreciate if you could keep me in mind for future events. I wish you and the Pontoxeniteas Brotherhood all the best for the commemoration event. Please pass on my message of support to your colleagues. We thank them all for their interest and unfailing support, especially those members who have publicly acknowledged the historical reality of the Armenian, Greek and Assyrian genocide and have urged the Australian government to recognise this crime against humanity. We also have apologies from Councillor Nick Vavaris, Mayor of Kogarah, and Mr. Yair Miller, President, New South Wales Jewish Board of Deputies. It is always heartening to see our youth participating in an event such as today's. We will now hear two poems from Dimitri Paneris and George Yakumaros.